This is Pastor Charles from Bux-Mont Baptist Church. We have a resourcing video for you today with Cindy.wollman. Thanks so much, Cindy, for joining us to talk about practical tips on how to buy a home. It's springtime. So many people are looking to buy a house, and so grateful that Cindy's on here today. Cindy is a realtor with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. She's been a real estate agent, a realtor for 5 years, and a real estate investor for 35 years. Thanks so much, Cindy.
My pleasure, Pastor Charles. Thank you for doing this for the community. It's really worthwhile.
Yeah, one of the things in buying a house, it could be a nerve-wracking experience.
Sure.
The biggest investment that most of us will make in our entire lives.
Absolutely.
So much of our retirement, our children's college fund, or, other things are wrapped up in this purchase. So we definitely wanted to get an expert. We wanted to get an expert to give people some really good advice on what to look out for when they're buying a home. So just to jump right in, it's a big decision. What should people do before they even contact a real estate agent or a realtor if they're thinking about buying a home?
So you really have to know what your budget is, right? Like anything, what can you afford? I would love a house with a magnificent garden and kind of like my background picture here with an outside grill and pools and waterfalls. But my budget just could not afford not only the purchase of that home, but the maintenance of that home. So I think it's really important to look at your budget, know what you can realistically afford, know what your current debt is and what your current level of income is so that you have the appropriate debt to income ratios and you're not overextending yourself.
Okay, that's some really good advice. When people are looking at their budget, I know there's so many different factors in buying a home. Real estate taxes could change a monthly payment greatly, even utilities, what type of utility, or sometimes trash service or other things as well. So when someone does talk to a real estate agent, is it best to have maybe a total number that they think they're looking for, or a monthly payment, or both, so that they could give that to their real estate agent and go through?
Probably a monthly payment, because if let's say you're looking at a condominium, it may be a less expensive purchase. However, the HOA fees each month would add significantly or marginally, depending on the community, for what somebody can afford. So it's really a good idea to know what that is, and your agent can do an estimated buyer's cost. So we'll take a look at what the real estate taxes are in the case of a condo, what the HOA fees are, and what that breaks down based on interest rates and what you're going to put down, how that correlates to your monthly payments.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's really good advice to have that in order. So you looked at your finances, what your debt is, your income is, have an idea of what a good monthly payment would be for you. How do you then go forward and pick a good real estate agent to buy a home?
So the best way to pick a real estate agent is really by referrals. Who do you know that's bought a house recently? Did they like that experience with that person? And follow up with that. You certainly can look at content like this and see who is out there in the marketplace educating consumers on buying homes. You want somebody that's going to help you to buy the right house for you, not sell you a house. So there's a difference. Yeah. So you're sitting back understanding that process, because it really, You want to engage with somebody that you have a rapport, that listens to what you're talking about. If you say, I want a man cave, and you really mean you want a man cave, then you better be looking for houses, or your realtor better be showing you, or at least letting you know, this isn't one at this particular point in time, but with a little bit of green paint, it can be an Eagles man cave in no time. I'm just jumping to conclusions that the Philadelphia market is based in Eagles territory. So forgive me if I've offended anybody.
Well, you're probably right, 95% of the time. I did see somebody walking with a Cowboys jersey in Philadelphia the other day, and I was surprised they did that. That's so true. When we were looking to buy a home in the DC area, and we engaged an agent, and she was much more interested in the commission and getting us to buy a home than actually trying to help us find the home for us. And it was so funny. We got so frustrated after about a month. We just stopped looking, and we stopped looking for about a year down there because we gave a price, a profile, and she would take us to a place that was at the top of our price range, but was a fixer-upper. You know, and it was like, well, if it's at the top of our price range, we're not gonna do that. And then she would take us to, you know, places that did not meet the criteria that we wanted. And it was just a very unpleasant experience. And so having somebody that actually cares about what you want, somebody that's listening and serving your needs is fantastic. So, and it doesn't hurt if they've been agent of the month either, as you have been. That's great. Somebody who's really attentive and an experience is really important. So,
can I add something here?
Of course, yes.
So I've got a great tool. It's called a lifestyle assessment. And for you, it sounds like you were able to evaluate what was most needed in your particular circumstances. Some people don't know how to go about that, right? They're not quite sure how to figure out, what am I looking for? And they think, well, I think I want 3 bedrooms. I think I want 2 bathrooms. This lifestyle assessment is really handy because it really looks at how you use a house. Do you want a walkable community? Do you need a dog park close by? Some of those community activities that are really important. Do I want a place that's close to a local church that's engaged in the community? Do my kids play baseball or softball? Do I want to be close to those different amenities? So this tool has been really helpful for a lot of my clients, particularly those ones that just don't know what that next step is, whether it's buying or downsizing or right sizing, you know, whatever it might be. It's just really helpful, and I'm happy to provide them to anybody that would need them.
That'd be great. Is there a link we could put in the description, or should we post your email address at the end and they could email it to you?
If you wouldn't mind putting my email address in it, then I could send that out. And it's just to request a lifestyle guide.
Definitely. We will put that in there. Look out for Cindy's email address in the description, and we'll also post it at the end of this video. So that's a fantastic tool. And, you know, I know earlier on when, you know, me and my wife were, you know, newer married, we didn't know how many we were going to have, right? Or we thought,
right.
So, you know, what we were going to buy, we were in a townhouse, and then we wanted to buy a single family home because of the kids and wanted a bigger yard and everything else. So that's a great thing, a great tool to have and for people to go through. So that'd be another good way to choose a realtor, somebody who has these type of things to help process such a big decision.
Right.
What could be a life altering decision as well. So what are so somebody, they have their budget, they have their realtor, and now they're looking for homes. What are some things that people should look out for when they're going through a house or when they're visiting homes or touring houses?
So right now, for buyers, it's really challenging because it is a seller's market. So your real estate agent is really going to want to put together an offer that makes sense for you. And it's something that the seller is going to be engaged with. Sometimes having more time is helpful because a seller needs to know where they're going to go. Or sometimes there are negotiation strategies that can take place to get the home. So in today's market, buyers need to be patient. They need to be realistic. And unfortunately, some of the competition is such that people are buying homes and waiving the home inspections. So you're really going in sight unseen. So any knowledge you can have on home repairs, or take a contractor with you for a second visit or something like that, or do the inspections for information purposes only so that you can get out of the deal if it's not going to work. But really, you've got to engage in the market realistically right now and understand where the competition is coming from and what you're going to need to do.
Yeah. What's that saying in real estate when your best or when you're trying to put your best offer forward?
Best and final.
But yeah, but best and final offer forward is definitely a market like that for sure. And a good agent can help with that. For us, we increase the earnest money a lot, just to put a lot of earnest money to show our financial strength. And I think that helped us a lot with the house that we ended up buying. Just let them know that we weren't looking to pull out.
Right.
And even though we could have gotten that back, it just really showed commitment. So that's really, a good thing, and important to have a good agent in terms of the house and then putting together an appealing offer. Are there any other tips that you, unless you don't want to disclose your client secrets on here, tips for putting in a good offer?
I think you just, as much cash that you talked about, the cash offers are the ones that are winning. And I know that's not a position that a lot of people are in. So if you can be, that is fantastic. And they're the offers that get accepted first. And some ways that some people do that is they're able to borrow from a 401k and then replace that money very quickly through a home equity loan. So there are, it's like working with your financial planner as well as your realtor to figure out the best financial strategy you can put forth in this particular market. But your idea of a good earnest money deposit up front is great. If you can do one payment as opposed to two deposits, that also shows some strength in the negotiations. The amount of time. Your agent should read the agent remarks. Some people are looking for more time. Some people want a quick settlement. So mirror what is being requested, and make sure your agent's doing a good job for you in that way, and gives you the appropriate feedback as to why you didn't get this one, what were you up against, are there things you can do better in the future. But be patient. It's a tough market.
We had offers probably on 5 different places before we got our home. I have some friends right now looking to move out to the Lancaster area, and they put offers on 3 or 4 places over there before, and they still haven't gotten a place. Yeah, so it's definitely a tough buyer's market right now. Buying a home could be a confusing process. It's not something that we do regularly. Even if somebody has bought a home before, the process, and it was 20 years ago or 30 years ago, or they're a first-time home buyer, it could be a confusing process. So, do you have any advice or, oversight from the offer to being under contract, and that's even confusing a little bit because there's sometimes contingency periods where you can get out, and then also even all the way up to closing. Any advice or kind of an overview of that process to simplify it for folks?
Sure. I think you look at it as like a project, right? So you're managing it from start to finish. So in between, there's a couple of different steps that need to be happening, and they're all spelled out in the agreement of sale. So sit down with your agent and make sure that you understand that you have 10 days to get inspections. Okay, so today is the 26th. So that means it's going to be in April that you have your contingency to have the home inspection done. So really map it out like a project so that you know what dates things need to get done. Work with your agent on following up with those dates to make sure that you hit them, because you have signed a legal binding contract, and it is incumbent upon you to make sure that you hit those deadlines. So the big ones are the home inspection, the repair to home inspection, how quickly you get the results back, if you have to do any negotiation, if that's even possible, and then the mortgage contingency, getting all that information. And you really want to make sure that your mortgage broker, as soon as you sign the contract, is aware that you are under contract and they can start their process. And if by chance the deal isn't going to go through, you want to let them know that as well so they can stop that process.
Yeah, yeah. Was it the financing contingency
Right.
on that? Yeah. What is because a lot, like you talked about before, a lot of times an offer could be more appealing based on timeline. If people
Right.
close quickly, it could be, making an offer where you could close very quickly, or giving them more time to find a home, or giving them even an out to buy their own home, could be an appealing offer. What is the typical timeline, shortest timeline if you're using financing that you would recommend? Is that a 30-day timeline or?
I like to tell people 45 days. 30, we can do it in 30 days, but with COVID, getting the title information and working with the different municipalities with the use and occupancy ordinances, it can take a bit more time. So I think a more realistic time frame for people is to be thinking 45 days for financing and getting all the use and occupancy information together is appropriate.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's so important to have a experienced agent to kind of walk through those things. Any tips for folks about closing, how to prepare for closing, and even transitioning to moving in? That kind of final stage of the project.
It is a really challenging time for people. Moving is crazy, and so I think keeping your expectations in alignment and good communication with your agent is important. Sometimes a deal doesn't close on the day that you think it's going to close, and that has happened more than once for me in this particular environment. And again, it requires patience and understanding that in this COVID environment, things aren't as idealistic as people would like. People are working from home, some things aren't happening. So patience is really critical at this time, and being able to be flexible with circumstances that are out of your control. If you have to move out of one place into another place, really, if you can have any overlap of time, that's extremely helpful in the process. It's not always possible, but if you can build that in, that really makes the ease a lot better.
Yeah, that was a lifesaver for us, having the place we were renting rented for about 2 more weeks after we purchased our home. So then made moving easier, made cleaning up the place, and just painting some of the small things we wanted to do as well, and took that pressure off. I remember previously when we moved in DC, we sold our townhouse on one day and we bought in the morning and we bought our other place in the afternoon. Fortunately, we worked out a lease back, I guess that was, for
Mhm.
a 2 week period. But even just that process of like going from one sale to the other was exhausting, and
Yeah,
just it's such a big purchase that it could be nerve
sure.
wracking. So
But that's a great question. There are little things that you can do that make it a little bit better. I mean, that's ideal. Can't always work that way, but you can try.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's fantastic. Thanks so much, Cindy, for being on and giving us some great tips on how to buy a home. We'll have her information in the comment section or inside the description, and then also put it up as well at the end so you can reach out to her. If you're looking to buy a home, looking to sell a home, or just would like some tips on how to know what type of house to buy. So thanks so much for being on today. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Pastor.
At Bux-Mont Baptist Church, we want to be a blessing to you. We want to help you any way we can. So please reach out to us if there's anything we can do. Thanks so much for watching.